In the whirlwind of life's relentless struggle, there are moments when someone blissfully plops down on a bus seat, slides onto a bathroom floor, or sinks into a bed, not out of fatigue but because something within them gently buckles. Picture a bridge collapsing under the weight of too many memories. It's not a dramatic spectacle, but rather a muted surrender. I just can't carry this anymore. The heart seems to whisper, leaving only silence to fill the void. For those who have walked the tightrope of emotional chaos, this moment is all too familiar. It's akin to recognizing that you're no longer just a carefree spirit, but someone who's danced too long in the rain. And when someone curiously asks, "Why are you so calm?" you fight the urge to roll your eyes. It's not tranquility. It's a tranquilizer shot of numbness, a result of your mind stretching itself too thin under life's demands. Hey everyone, welcome to Psychologist Jeep, a quiet corner of the internet for people who've been through too much and learned to carry it silently. This space is for overthinkers, deep feelers, and those who look calm on the outside but feel endlessly tired on the inside. If life has taught you to stay alert, to read the room before you speak, or to expect disappointment before hope you're not broken, you adapted. Here, we explore the psychology of people who've experienced too much too early, how it shapes your thoughts, your relationships, and the way you move through the world. We're not here to fix you. We're here to understand why your mind works the way it does and to remind you that awareness is not weakness. Before we begin, take a moment to like this video if any of this resonates. Share it with someone who carries more than they say. And in the comments, tell us where you're listening from or what life taught you too soon. You're not alone here. This is a place where heavy minds are finally understood. Resilience gets bandied about like a badge of honor, but for those who face the tempest, it feels more primal, like instinct kicking in when the chips are down. It's a silent agreement with oneself to keep trudging through the muck, even when every fiber of your being screams for a break. You develop an uncanny sense of gravity, where your presence carries an unspoken weight, your gaze deeper than the ocean, and your pauses stretch thin with unvoiced thoughts. Despite the woes you carry, folks often mistake your silent strength for wisdom. Oh, they've got it all figured out, they'll say, oblivious to the tumult swirling beneath that composed exterior. The truth lies in the forced maturity, the kind that isn't cultivated but wrung out of you like a sponge in a sink. Unlike those who grow in gardens of nurture, you sprout from the cracks of life's concrete. Then comes the emotional overcompensation, a psychological term that dances on the tongue like a bitter pill. Faced with a nervous system worn out from the grind, it begins to morph, albeit not elegantly. It adapts by sharpening your awareness, tuning in a tad too much to every nuance and subtext until your mind becomes a radar for every unspoken word and potential disaster just beyond the horizon. If you've ever found yourself overthinking or scanning the room for micro-expressions, it's not just paranoia. It's simply a self-defense mechanism birthed from the chaos you've endured. Your mind, in its silent rebellion, constructs elaborate fortifications to fend off the uncertainties that once evoked panic. Remnants of this protective architecture cling to you like shadows, even if the storms of life have somewhat calmed. And so, those who carry the heavy burdens of experience possess a curriculum unwritten yet pervasive. They can read the silence like a best-selling novel, tuning in to tensions others might overlook. They maneuver around conflict with the precision of ballet dancers, expertly avoiding the shards of glass strewn about their emotional landscape. All while their own hearts tremble silently, they become masterful at offering calm to others, even when they feel the world spinning out of control. Life's roller coaster doesn't quite send everyone flying off the handle. It transforms them into emotional ninjas, equipped to bounce back from disappointment like a rubber band. Rather than fall apart, they develop what seems like cool personality traits. But shocker, it's actually just a survival kit of lessons learned the hard way. Those autopilot scripts embedded in their nervous system often start churning at an early age, firing up when they experience life's punchy stress and chaos. Thanks to their unique upbringing, these folks become masters in the art of pattern recognition. While some might call it intuition, for them it's like a finely tuned radar for danger. As research shows, their brains recalibrate, becoming hyper-aware of subtle cues that others overlook. This heightened sensitivity leads to a tenderness that radiates from their being, forged through countless trials and tribulations, redefining the term softness into a badge of honor rather than a mark of weakness. But let's not confuse tenderness with easy living. Those who've battled through life's trenches know that empathy blooms in the gardens of adversity. They get it, the unspeakable burdens everyone carries, even if they stay under wraps. It's almost comedic how they can effortlessly cradle others' hearts while sometimes forgetting to pack their own emotional first aid. They're like seasoned comfort givers, yet behind the scenes, they haven't truly felt that wonderful embrace of comfort themselves. Yet, lurking beneath their empathy is a sneaky little demon called exhaustion. It's that internal fatigue acquired from being the pillar of strength for way too long. Not a weariness visible to the outside world, but a quieter, heavy-laden fatigue that swallows them whole, making them retreat into their own protective shells. This exhaustion whispers that help from others is unpredictable. And boy, do they hate surprises. After all, a bumpy ride is the last thing they need after navigating life's emotional roller coaster. With this self-preservation mode activated, they become self-soothing experts, wielding their self-care like a shield. Their capability shines bright on the outside, where everyone thinks they've got it all together. Inside, however, it's a different story, a complex web of feelings, oscillating between wanting to connect and battling the urge to retreat. They're often seen as the strong one, while they're trying to figure out how to carry themselves alongside all the others they care for. What's truly fascinating is their relationship with vulnerability. They don't avoid it because they're anti-philogs. Rather, they have learned that vulnerability can be a slippery slope leading to disappointment or misunderstanding. So, they open up like a beautiful flower in the sun, but only in layers. It's not some strategic game. It's their way of navigating an unpredictable world, a slow unveiling rather than a full-blown emotional explosion. Despite the complexities of their emotional world, one thing is crystal clear. Nothing about them screams broken. Their reactions, their extra caution, and their rich depth in emotion all make sense in the grand scheme of things. Each carefully placed brick in their emotional fortress is a testament to their resilience. So the next time you encounter someone who seems to embody both strength and fragility, remember they're just doing their best to make sense of their vivid, intricate world. Psychological adaptation isn't a symptom of weakness. It's the mind's clever way of responding to its narrative. Picture your mind as a lively storyteller. When life throws endless plots, twists, and heart-wrenching tales your way, the story gets complicated, like a spaghetti mess of emotions. And oh, how rich and intricate that internal tapestry becomes when laden with experiences that would choke an ordinary soul. It's amazing how those with heavy hearts often find beauty amidst their chaos. These incredible folks become the quiet lovers of the world. They cherish the little things, like a warm cup of coffee on a rainy day, far beyond any grand proclamations of love. They notice details that others often forget, like the way a light flickers or how the wind rustles through the trees, savoring the calm because they've tasted chaos firsthand. They're upholstered in emotional sincerity because they know the sturdy price of pretending, making their connections deep and genuine. What's truly astonishing about those who've weathered life's tempests is their unwavering will to continue. Their hearts may feel like lead balloons, their minds exhausted from wrestling thoughts, and futures may loom uncertainly. Yet still, they tread forward not out of a sense of invincibility, but rather because they've been broken before and learned to rise once more, fashioning resilience from their shattered pieces. There's wisdom stitched into their souls, a maturity that emerges when you lose the map of your emotional landscape. As they navigate their tangled inner worlds, these survivors unwittingly become keepers of profound self-awareness. Each scar tells a story of triumph in adversity, filling them with unvoiced chapters like a novel they never intended to write. Deep down, however, there's this flickering wish for a desire for life to have been a bit gentler. Not fluffy and cotton candy perfect, but to have allowed them the luxury of ease, where they didn't bear the weight of expectations to always be the rock. Despite those unturned pages longing for an easier existence, they keep pushing forward, carrying wisdom beyond their years. They morph personal trauma into understanding and pain into purpose, evolving hotshots of quiet strength. These people don't just bob along the surface of life. They dive deep, examining thoughts, interpreting feelings, transforming every hurt into heavy insight that gleams for all to see. In navigating their emotional terrain, they unwittingly become guides to others lost in their narratives. They morph into that calming presence in a tempest of emotions, the compassionate ear that listens without judgment. They understand the wordless aches because they've trudged through the mucilage of untold stories, holding space for those overwhelmed by their own unarticulated truths. This makes their unique psychological makeup not just a reflection of their tribulations, but a vibrant gift to the world. There's a subtle moment when they notice life's differing spectrum. Their world feels a smidge divergent. It isn't a jarring revelation, but rather a gradual blooming. They observe the panicked frenzy around them with an unshaken calm, and the exuberance that sets others alight barely stirs their insides. Their minds dance 2 steps ahead, analyzing the next moves like a chess master, skillfully preparing for emotional earthquakes before they're even triggered, giving them perspective like few others possess. You might think your quirks make you an oddball, like a cat trying to fit into a dog's sweater. But hey, as the days stretch on, you realize that your strangeness is just the residue of everything you've been through. You've danced with life's wildest ups and downs, and somewhere between feeling everything too intensely and pulling away like a defensive turtle, you've created a curious relationship with reality. A quirky blend of intimacy and distance that adds flair to your existence. Welcome to the world of emotional duality. This isn't just a fancy phrase, it's a survival toolkit you've crafted out of necessity. You can showcase a calm exterior while a tempest whirls inside you, effortlessly merging empathy with a touch of vulnerability. It's the art of navigating life's emotional roller coaster, where you're fully present yet expertly sidestepping the whirlwind of feelings that threaten to sweep you off your feet. Mastering this balancing act becomes second nature, even if it feels like juggling flaming swords while riding a unicycle. But this double-edged sword comes with its quirks. Imagine hesitating before happiness, like a cat that leaps before looking. You analyze comfort like it's a suspicious dish at a potluck. Is this real? Is it too good to be true? Not because you're a naysayer, but because your brain has etched a roadmap of life's ups entwined with unpredictable downs. No matter how sunny the skies, your nervous system is forever on alert, bracing for the next emotional tumble. It's like having a personal storm cloud loom above you, even when the picnic is perfect. Relationships are the ultimate high-wire act. Your affection runs deeper than a bottomless pit, yet it leaves you vulnerable to fear. You conjure worst-case scenarios before you've even unpacked the first box of feelings. You find yourself apologizing for simply existing, and constellations of guilt dance in your mind when someone asks, "What do you need?" It's a peculiar predicament, where your ears are finely tuned to others' needs while your own get tucked away like last season's fashion. The love you give is an enigma. It's steady, intense, and quietly loyal, like an adorable, watchful puppy caring yet cautious. Once love ignites, it burns bright enough to illuminate the darkest corners. You pick up on the subtleties of people's emotions, noticing unspoken hurt in their eyes even before they realize it themselves. Your heartfelt presence offers support others may overlook, but beware. Sincerity comes at the cost of being highly susceptible to being hurt. Just a slip of inconsistency can feel like the faintest whisper of abandonment. While you react to trivial matters with unexpected intensity, know this: it's not the present that stirs you. Rather, it's a ripple effect from the past, echoing through every moment when you felt ignored, unsafe, or unseen. Your body, wise and ancient, responds to patterns formed long before you understood the chaos lurking within. This might sound crazy, but instead of unraveling these thoughts into the open expanse, you might choose the silent route, hiding your triggers and self-soothing through a smile. Deep down, you yearn for harmony, craving a world where everyone understands those storms brewing within. Yet, you may often feel boxed into the overly sensitive corner. So, you sprinkle around breadcrumbs of your soul, keeping tensions at bay, ensuring that your emotional currents remain hidden. It's quite the balancing act, juggling the chaos within while crafting the serene facade the world finds so comforting. You may carry the weight alone, but hey, it's a wild and colorful journey that's all your own. Isn't it a mystery how some folks manage to be the go-to person for everyone's emotional baggage? They've got that uncanny ability to provide clarity and comfort, soaking in the fears and feelings of those around them. Friends flock to them, shedding tears like they've just received a long-lost package, with this emotional guru holding it all without breaking a sweat. It's like they come with an emotional manual, having been through the ringer themselves, absorbing life lessons before they even had a chance to figure out their own perplexities. The ironic twist is that this emotional literacy serves as a double-edged sword. While they can spot a fake smile from a mile away or sense vibrations in a conversation that seem perfectly normal to others, it becomes a burden in disguise. You see, they can effortlessly tune in on when someone's "I'm fine" is code for "help me," a gift that allows them to connect deeply yet makes them feel like emotional sponges. That's a lot of responsibility, and sometimes it weighs heavier than a bodybuilder lifting weights at the gym. But here's the kicker. All that absorbing can lead to quiet exhaustion. You won't catch these emotional masterminds having a dramatic meltdown. Instead, they'll just fade into the background, offering shorter replies and softer laughs. Their laughter takes on a whispery tone, and their presence can feel like a ghostly breeze. When someone asks unassumingly if they're all right, they mask their turmoil with a charming grin and a quick "I'm good," not wanting anyone to know they're just one emotional rain cloud away from a monsoon. Yet, beneath all the layers is a strength that's understated yet unyielding. It's not in flashy displays of bravado. Rather, it's a quiet resolve that perseveres. They've weathered more than their fair share of emotional storms. No umbrellas, no problem. With the experience of reconstructing their castles from the ashes more than once, they've cultivated a rare inner resilience. This is not the kind of toughness that screams "look at me," but instead, it silently whispers "I can keep going." These emotional resilience warriors still seek connection, despite their scars yearning for solitude. They dream of a life where vulnerability isn't a sign of weakness. Hope flickers like a candle in the dark, a small, persistent light guiding them forward even when the shadows loom large. Even when every fiber of their being urges them to remain guarded, they hang onto the belief that they can trust, attempt, and embrace love again without fear choking them. What really sets them apart is how they process their pain like a fine chef sifting through ingredients for the perfect dish. They don't just nod along while suffering. They dissect it, turning emotional chaos into lessons and insights. It's this blend of fragility and power that creates a worldview unlike any other. Their experiences, though painful, birth a wisdom that is genuine and rich, allowing them to become understanding souls who see life through multifaceted lenses. Equipped with patient insights, they grasp the complexity of human emotions. People act out of their own injuries, and that knowledge makes them forgiving and empathic, rather than weak. They understand healing isn't linear. It's like a maze with detours and dead ends. While they believe in boundaries, they also know compassion is key to truly connecting with others. That unique perspective makes them allies in a world filled with muddled feelings and misunderstood intentions. Invisible grief lurks beneath the surface of those who've navigated life's challenges. It's not merely about losing a loved one. It's more about mourning the versions of themselves that have faded away, remembering who they were when trust flowed freely, when carefree laughter filled the air, or when uncertainty felt more like an adventure than a threat adds a layer of complexity to their existence. This grief doesn't weigh them down. It refines them, transforming them into deeper, more meaningful beings. As the layers peel away, they embrace quieter and more contemplative lives. They develop an appreciation for what many disregard as ordinary, like the serene calm of a morning, a nuanced conversation, or a warm touch from a safe friend. These moments are cherished treasures, remnants of a time when safety was just an expectation rather than a rare delight. Their resilience gives rise to a newfound ability to recognize and value simplicity, even when the world around them pushes for chaos. Despite their journey's burdens, their growth continues, albeit in the shadows. They cultivate boundaries, grasp the essence of self-worth, and master the art of emotional regulation. Differentiating between instinct and trauma becomes a skill, allowing them to step into vulnerability with a courage born from wisdom rather than reckless abandon. They might have scars, but they also possess the insight that transforms hardship into strength, reminding them that they are not merely products of their pain, but creators of their path. It's crucial to recognize that those who have experienced profound suffering are often anything but fragile. They emerge as dynamic individuals who, rather than shying away from their complexities, embrace them. They navigate a world that frequently prefers simplicity, daring to be sensitive in situations that reward emotional detachment. This rich emotional tapestry they carry transforms their minds not into battlegrounds, but into testaments of survival, resilience, and the incredible depths one can achieve amidst turmoil. Through accepting their journey and the nuances of their experience, they understand a liberating truth. They can become beacons of hope or lighthouses in the darkness. They don't need to be flawless. It's their understanding of struggle that shapes them into sources of warmth and guidance. Their very presence can illuminate paths for others, offering wisdom gleaned from profound pain and reflection. This is where true empathy blossoms, a kind that surrounds others with affection and understanding without any strings attached. Their rebirth is a slow and deliberate process, evolving into people who love deeply and trust thoughtfully. Navigating relationships comes with a newfound depth, allowing them to connect meaningfully and find solace within themselves. They dust off the remnants of their past, building a sanctuary through emotional intelligence and strategies that prioritize safety and softness. Each step would lead them to create a life that is less about mere survival and more about embracing genuine expression and connection. If you resonate with this journey, take a moment to reflect that everything that makes you who you are wasn't just the outcome of life's whims. It's a testament to your adaptability and growth. You are not a victim of your past. Instead, your resilience fosters a capability to forge a more nurturing path ahead. You can rewrite old narratives, sculpt new emotional landscapes, and embrace love, gentleness, and vulnerability as empowering choices. In summary, look at where you stand now. Rather than merely having endured, you have grown through it all, unlike